Hello gamers and welcome back to the RegentsPlays YouTube channel. Today talking about the next Battlefield game in this series. That is right, ladies and gentlemen, it has been confirmed to be releasing in the year of 2025. We are actually getting a brand new Battlefield game and I can't quite believe it. I'm excited, I'm anxious, I'm nervous, and I don't think I'm ready for another disappointment. After the last two Battlefield releases, I'm hoping and praying that this is the turnaround for Battlefield. Now, this means a lot of things regarding the future of Battlefield 2042, which is the gameplay that you're going to be seeing in the background of this video, and what to expect in the build-up to the new game, as well as questions now being asked in regards to what the new game is that we are actually getting, what setting it's going to be, is an old game, a modern game, a future game, and so much more. So sit back, enjoy the gameplay, and let's talk about the next Battlefield title. Some hopes, some concerns, some ideas, and some theories about what's to come. As always, leave a like on the video and subscribe if you haven't already for all future Battlefield and more on this channel. Ladies and gentlemen, in the comments down below your favorite ever Battlefield title and what setting you hope this next game will be in. So first things first, a lot of info has cropped up, well, some info has cropped up on Twitter after EA's third quarter fiscal year earnings call with its CEO and more. The first bit of information that stood out was Andrew Wilson saying that Battlefield 2042's community continues to grow, with total players up 17% year over year, and Season 6 live services driving strong engagement with weekly average users up 37% year over year. Now, reading this statement makes me laugh just a little bit, ladies and gentlemen, because it is so blatantly ignoring the fact that if you talk to any real Battlefield fan out there, 9 times out of 10, they will say just how bad Battlefield 2042 actually is, and actually how it has been since launch, ladies and gentlemen. How stagnant the releases of the season updates actually are, and how little improvements and updates you actually get per season. Now, don't get me wrong, the game is definitely in a better state now than it was at the release, and I've always been somewhat of a fan of Battlefield 2042, but I think that's mainly just because I love Battlefield games, and I think I'm sort of blinded by my love of the Battlefield games. I try to force myself to enjoy it, force myself to like it. Again, I think it's an okay Battlefield game, but when you compare it to Battlefield 3, Battlefield 4, you know, Bad Company games, even Battlefield 5 for me, which is one of my favorite, Battlefield 1, which is a fan favorite, you know, with 90% of the audience, Battlefield 2042 may be at the bottom of the pile, which for your latest release, you do not want. Even on this channel, you've seen it as well. I play mainly Battlefield 5, Battlefield 3, 4. I don't like Battlefield 2042 as much. It's not on the same level as those older titles, ladies and gentlemen, which is crazy because it's so, you know, it's the newest one. It's some of those games are years and years and years old now, but still I have more fun going on those older Battlefield games as opposed to playing Battlefield 2042, even with all the updates. It's such a shame because myself and millions of Battlefield fans out there, fanatics of the franchise that have been, you know, following it since very, very beginning, we just want the best for this franchise that we have loved over the years. And I mean, back-to-back launches now, Battlefield 5 launch, now Battlefield 2042 launch, both of them have just been as bad as each other. And really, it puts a stain on the Battlefield franchise as a whole. Speaking of that, it's no secret that Battlefield 2042 had arguably one of the worst launches of any Battlefield title in recent history, maybe in gaming history, or at least FPS history. Even more so after the disappointing launch of Battlefield 5, we've had 2 back-to-back horrible launches of Battlefield titles, which is why the overall thought process going into this new game, if you read all of the comments, if you go to the subreddit, do not pre-order the next Battlefield game, ladies and gentlemen. That is the consensus among the Battlefield community. And when you drill this into your community as a whole, it is not the steps you want to take. It's not the reaction you want to hear. When a new game gets announced, you want hype, you want excitement, you want eagerness. You don't want people to say, do not pre-order it, because the past 2 games have been absolutely unplayable at launch. It just kills off any sort of excitement that any Battlefield fan may have, because in their heads now, they're thinking, okay, the past 2 Battlefield games that got launched, I was excited, I was ready, I pre-ordered it, and then I was disappointed. And they don't want that. Back to back to back, 3 times running now of the last 3 Battlefield games, that's going to put a stain on those pre-order numbers, that's for sure. Horror releases back to back, they provide nothing but apprehension and dread and just despair when it comes to the next Battlefield title being announced. Feelings of overwhelmingly disappointment all brought back up. EA have just forever stained and marked the Battlefield franchise because of the last couple games, and it's so saddening, but it is the realism of the situation that we sit in right now. They need to hit the marks. They need to listen to the fan base, or else it could be 3 strikes and you're out, ladies and gentlemen. And listen, after Battlefield 5, everyone's like, okay, they can come back, it's fine. Battlefield 2042, it was like, okay, I feel like they've really sullied the name of Battlefield. If they mess up 3 launches in a row, that could be done. That could be it over for the Battlefield franchise as a whole. Andrew went on to say, we are making investments in the future of the Battlefield franchise. Our exceptional teams from multiple world-class studios working with cutting-edge Frostbite technology are building an expansive, community-focused Battlefield universe for fans. Using words like expansive, community-focused, shows that they want to show that they're going back to their roots of the Battlefield 3, Battlefield 4 days, where they actually felt like they cared and listened to their community. But after 2 awful launches where they added things the community did not want, they added things the community doesn't like, and they took away things that the community loved, it feels like they are pandering to the audience with these statements, making empty promises in order to generate some sort of trust after the shambles of 2042. I think a key for this next game is setting an OG nostalgia in a new and exciting way. Frostbite has grown so much since the old Battlefield titles, so much through the years. We want to see that in game, ladies and gentlemen. They throw out statements like cutting-edge Frostbite technology. We want to see that in the next game. Don't just say it's cutting edge. Show us how cutting edge this new Frostbite technology actually is. Pure destruction, evolving worlds and landscapes, and immersive, non-stop action that truly takes the player's breath away. I think the setting is all down to personal preference, as, you know, Battlefield 1, they went old school with it. They went old school, and everyone absolutely loved it. Myself, personally, I prefer more of a modern take on it. Battlefield 3, Battlefield 4 vibes. I prefer that modern setting. People know the worlds. People know the maps. People know the layout and the guns, the accessories. It's just all down to their personal preference. But overall, as long as you make it a living, a thriving universe that players can run, explore, and enjoy, I think regardless of where you actually set it, whether it be old, present, or even in the future, I think as long as you bring the world to life, bring the universe to life, in single-player and multiplayer fashion, I think players can fall in love with Battlefield once again. I am intrigued, like I said at the beginning of the video. In the comments down below, let me know, what is your favorite setting for a Battlefield title? What do you think you can have the most fun with? Whether it be back in the days, whether it be focused on a realistic war that has happened, like a World War I, a World War II, or even a fictional war, like a World War III, you know, 2042 obviously went a bit in the future. Do you prefer close to the future? Do you prefer semi-realistic future? Do you prefer all the way in the future, like Advanced Warfare with, you know, jetpacks and flying the cars and this and that? Or do you prefer just a bog standard modern take? Would you be happy with basically a Battlefield 3, but completely revamped with the new cutting edge Frostbite technology that they're talking about? Those are the questions they need to bounce about, and those are the questions they need to think of and really deliver when it comes to the Battlefield community, because it's such a strong community of all these different fans that have come from all of these different games. I know I've made videos on Battlefield in the past and on this channel where people have commented saying they've joined, you know, back in the Battlefield Bad Company days. Right? Back in the Battlefield 3 days. People have even said on the Reddit I've seen recently, their first Battlefield game has been Battlefield 2042. Could you imagine someone joining the Battlefield community and 2042 being their first ever game, and they go back and play the old Battlefield titles and realize how good the older titles are compared to the current game? That is just not what a gaming franchise should be. It should be progressively getting better and better each and every time, and I think they missed the mark so many times on Battlefield 2042. I think they got rid of so much stuff that was awesome in old Battlefield games that could have been awesome and could have been implemented into this one, but they just weren't. Speaking of 2042, we do know that EA have already announced a Season 7 coming in March of this year. The announcement of the next Battlefield title in 2025 also meant assumptions and questions arose around if there will be a Season 8, a Season 9, a Season 10. How long are they going to drag out 2042 now until the new game? Are they going to keep pushing it right until the very end? We know Battlefield 5, which is right now my favorite Battlefield to play. I've gone back and played it a bunch on this channel and in my free time. Battlefield 5, when it first launched, was absolutely awful. They just missed the mark on so many things. The netcode wasn't working. People were getting booted from games. People couldn't even launch up. The DLCs, everything was a mess. The Firestorm as well. Goodness gracious me, what a throwback that is. And a lot of it just didn't hit right. At the time, I was with those. I didn't really enjoy it. Now going back, it's one of my favorite games to play. I absolutely love Battlefield 5, ladies and gentlemen. And they stopped, you know, giving DLC. They stopped actually making content on Battlefield 5 only months after the release, and that was something so shocking to me. I wish they kept developing that game, because it could have been it could have been up there with Battlefield 1 with the community, I feel like, if they carried on. But they got rid of it. They just gave up, got rid of it, and threw it in the bin, ready for the next title. So it's interesting to me how long they're going to go with 2042, how many seasons they're going to have with 2042 before the next Battlefield title, and what we're actually going to get, whether it be maps, modes, guns, or whatever, up until the next game. I think they're just going to use a season as like a massive update, even though in the recent seasons, I don't think they've added too much personally. We'll see how they progress over the next year, ladies and gentlemen, as we approach the next Battlefield game. Not much more news has come out other than that regarding the future of 2042 and the next title. So for today, that is all, ladies and gentlemen. Hopefully you did enjoy, though, and left a thumbs up and a comment down below. Hopefully you're all excited, skeptical, nervous, prepared for the next game. I know I am. I think. I hope. I hope. Please just make Battlefield great again, and we will all be happy. Ladies and gentlemen, from myself here today, until next time, much of us always take care, and happy gaming.